Yo, welcome to the IICF Southeast 2021 celebration. It's been an unbelievably difficult year, but the insurance industry has rallied together to help others. The show you're about to witness tonight is going to be an inspiring evening that showcases the impact the industry has been able to have on making things work together and show you what we can do. Congratulations, guys. Have a blast.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees, quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. Just want to say the Who Dat Nation welcomes everyone to the IICF Southeast 2021 celebration. IICF brings the industry together to support nonprofits championing children at risk, education, disaster relief, and veterans. So let's get excited, let's have a great time, and appreciate all that you do. Who Dat?
Hey, what's up, Sice T? At Law and Order SVU, backstage. This is my dressing room with Scarface painting. Of course, I have a Scarface painting. I want to give a huge shout out to the IICF Southeast Division 2021 celebration. I know all the donations and the money you guys are raising. You've been raising $45 million in grants across the country. That is incredible. I want everyone out there to support all these children at risk, the disadvantaged youth. And if you can, please give a donation, because this is a very, very honorable cause they're working for, all right? So Ice-T, I totally support you guys. Reach into your pockets and donate. This is a great cause.
Hey everyone, it's me, Paula Abdul. Boy, oh boy, you all look so beautiful tonight. I hope each of you watching are staying positive and keeping healthy during these unprecedented times. The feeling that comes with giving back to others is simply unparalleled. And the impact and support of organizations like IICF make to local nonprofits and the people they serve each day is just awe-inspiring. Now, this year may look different, but the need is greater than ever. So please donate tonight and help raise much-needed funds for this nonprofit. And with that said, I would like to thank all of the sponsor companies and industry leaders that are here with us tonight, and officially welcome you to the IICF Southeast Division 2021 celebration. Woohoo! And may 2021 bring all of you so much love, so much happiness and laughter and good health and abundance and prosperity. From my heart to yours, I love, 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 love you.
What's up, everyone? This is your man, Emmett Smith here, the all-time leading rusher, 3-time Super Bowl champion, and of course, your Dance with the Stars champion. I want to welcome each and every one of you to the IICF Southeast 2121 celebration. It is our mission to bring the insurance industry together and support our local communities. I also want to send a special shout out to my team from Dallas, Texas. Hey, 2021 has to be a great year. You guys from Dallas, either way, congratulations and welcome to the conference.
Thank you to our special celebrity guests for that fantastic kickoff. And welcome to the IICF Southeast 9th Annual Benefit Celebration. My name is Kelly Raspberry. I'm so honored to be your MC this evening. And on behalf of the Insurance Industry Charitable Foundation, known as IICF for short, Southeast Board of Directors, thank you for joining us. Now, before we move into hearing from the many special guests we have this evening, I wanted to introduce to you the President of Lloyd's and IICF International Board of Governors Chairman, Hank Watkins, to say a few words.
Thank you, Kelly, and welcome everyone to the IICF Southeast Division's 9th Annual Fundraising Celebration. I have fond memories of last year's event in Frisco, and like all of you, look forward to the next time our wonderful organization brings us back together in Dallas. Before moving into my event-specific remarks, I wanted to acknowledge the impact of Winter Storm Uri on so many of our fellow citizens, in particular the millions in Texas for whom last week's weather produced what is likely to be the most damaging personal and insurance industry event in the state's history. Over 4.5 million Texas families were without power during several of the coldest days in over a century and are now facing additional challenges as frozen pipes thaw across the state. Millions of Texans are still awaiting access to clean drinking water. Most of the beneficiaries of this evening's fundraising program have sustained significant damage to their facilities many of them shelters and schools, and a corresponding increase in the needs of the people they serve. Everyone in the audience this evening can help by encouraging your colleagues and friends to join you in making a text-to-give donation, volunteering, or supporting our local Fill the Truck food drive, which you'll hear more about during the program tonight. The resilience of IICF since March of last year has been remarkable, yet not surprising given the commitment of our international, national, regional, and local leadership board members, the companies they represent, and the many other friends of IICF we've made over the years. I'm based in New York and joined the Northeast Division Board about 10 years ago at the invitation of Executive Director Betsy Myatt. Since then, I've served on the dinner committee, selling furniture, tables and chairs as we like to say, and was board chair from 2017 to 2019. That division's annual benefit dinner was held virtually in early December, and I have no doubt this evening's event will meet or exceed your expectations for engagement and fundraising. Lloyd's is proud of our involvement with IICF across multiple chapters and divisions in the US and London, and continues to support the organization because it enables us to accomplish the critical personal and professional goals we all hold close, providing a hand up to people in need and improving the perception of the industry we love beyond the stakeholders we work with every day. As a convener of industry colleagues striving to support our communities and promote our great industry, IICF is in a unique position to build on the success of last year's virtual events and those to come in 2021. I'm confident we'll emerge stronger overall, and that's entirely due to the unwavering commitment of our chapter and division boards in the US and UK, supported along the way by IICF CEO Bill Ross and his dedicated team. A virtual shout out and thank you to all of you from coast to coast and in London. Proceeds from this evening will be used to provide much needed financial support to 21 nonprofits that champion children at risk, education, disaster relief, and veteran causes. We're privileged to be joined by veteran Marine Corps Sergeant and Paralympic champion Kirstie Ennis, and by CEO of Minnie's Food Pantry, Cheryl Johnson, who will be speaking about the rise in food insecurity. Congratulations to the Southeast boards, and thank you to everyone in the audience this evening and in previous years for your contributions of time, talent, and treasure. Together, you've raised and granted more than $5 million since the first brick in the Southeast Foundation was laid in 2012. This is a powerful indicator of our industry's generosity, particularly over the past year, a time when none of us were left untouched by the pandemic. Before I return the mic to Kelly, I'll close with a big virtual hug and thank you to Sarah and Tiffany for inviting me to welcome you this evening. To this terrific Southeast Division Board, led by co-chairs Rich Gergasco and Mark Schultz, to the Associate Board, led by Herbie Rolfe, and to the incredibly generous event sponsors you'll see acknowledged on the screen and on the IICF website. Enjoy the evening, and may you and your families stay safe as we return to healthier times.
Thank you, Hank, for your warm welcome. Now, my husband Alan and I were fortunate enough to attend one of the IICF Southeast benefit dinners as a guest of grant recipient Operation Once in a Lifetime. And we were privileged to learn personally about the generosity of the insurance industry as well as the people who are in it. And we know things look very different this year, but still we have an incredible and inspiring program planned for you all this evening. We're going to hear from several industry leaders, from Cheryl Jackson of Minnie's Food Pantry regarding the rise of food insecurity in our country. And we'll close with an inspiring and heroic story from Marine Corps veteran Kirstie Ennis, who was injured during her tour in Afghanistan, in a moderated discussion led by USAA. And a huge thank you to USAA, as well as the Bill Henry family, for being presenting sponsors of tonight's program. And with that, I'm going to turn it over now to IICF Southeast Fundraising Chair Matt Stadler, Regional President of Marsh & McLennan Agency Southwest.
Thank you, Kelly. We are thrilled to have you joining us this evening as our MC. I know all of us are huge fans and listeners of the Kid Craddock Morning Show. I never imagined our 9th annual Southeast Benefit Dinner would be in this virtual format, but as we learned this year, never say never. One positive that has come from this virtual setting is that we're able to share tonight's program with a broader audience. We hope you will see why you should feel proud to be a part of the insurance industry and the impact IICF and our industry leaders were able to make throughout this past year. In these divided times, engaging with our local communities is one way we can collectively use our time to improve circumstances after crisis. And that is what we, as insurance professionals, do every day. The funds raised through sponsorships, donations, and personal giving tonight are supporting the work on the ground of 21 nonprofit beneficiaries you will see highlighted this evening that champion children at risk, education, disaster relief, and veteran causes. Our IICF Southeast Division has granted nearly $5 million throughout our region, and it is an honor to serve with our fellow board members to make this impact each year. I want to take this moment to thank our incredible group of leaders on our Southeast Division board, our chapter boards located in Atlanta and Houston, and the passionate groups of associate board leaders in each city. I also want to thank all of the sponsors you'll see listed on the bottom of the screen throughout tonight's one-hour program. A big shout out to USAA and Bill and Cheryl Henry for being our presenting sponsors, to Texas Mutual Insurance for your premier sponsorship, and to platinum sponsors including AmRisk and CRC Group, CNA, Liberty Mutual, and the Dan Browning family. I look forward to what the future brings us, and it is with that spirit that I invite you to be a part of something greater this evening, this coming year, by getting involved with us and IICF. Together, we're able to provide greater leadership, broader volunteer service, and more extensive grant funding. We are all in the same storm, but we are not in the same boat. This is why I hope you stick with us through the full program and consider making a text-to-give donation as you hear more about where the dollars are going throughout the program. You can make a donation at any time tonight by texting the number on the screen, which is phone number 430-888-4423 or 430-888-IICF. Make sure you keyword IICF, a space, and then the amount that you wish to give. And with that, I will turn back to Kelly to intro our first guest.
Matt, I am blown away hearing of the significant grants awarded by the IICF. Now, as Matt said, I hope you all will consider making a donation this evening to help these 21 very worthy nonprofit organizations. One way IICF has responded to those in need through the ongoing pandemic is through the IICF Children's Relief Fund, which has so far distributed 2.5 million meals to help families facing food insecurity in our region. Cheryl Jackson, the CEO of Minnie's Food Pantry, is joining us to share her heart and passion for taking action during times of need. Minnie's Food Pantry is one of the nonprofit grant recipients of tonight's fundraiser. Cheryl and her team strive to be a voice for the hungry, and they need our help. So please join me in welcoming Cheryl virtually, followed by remarks from IICF Southeast Board member and Regional Director at Lloyd's, Inya He.
Thank you so much, Kelly Raspberry. My name is Cheryl Jackson. I'm the founder of Minnie's Food Pantry. Minnie's was named after my mom, Miss Minnie Ewing, and we started 13 years ago, feeding 10 people per month. Fast forward 13 years, and we provided over 15 million meals in our community. Wow, who knew that people in North Texas needed a meal, needed something as simple as their next meal? But what are we doing right now with you? We need you to partner with us because of this pandemic. We usually serve 1.5 million meals per year, but because of the pandemic, last year we served over 5 million meals. Let that sink in. All right, but we can't do it without you. We are not government funded. We are people funded. What does that mean? It's people who care about people. And because you care, you chose Minnie's Food Pantry as a recipient of the Fill the Truck donation, right? And this is a competition. That's what I heard. And I always win. And I don't know about you, but all I do is win, 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 no matter what. And I need you to join me. Fill up that truck, donate the food, and then do one more thing. When you get home one night, just put an empty plate at your table. When you put that empty plate there, people will ask you, why is that there? And you get a chance to tell them that you provided meals to people that were in need in our community. And on behalf of those individuals, I simply say, thank you. I thank you, my staff thanks you, and the community thanks you. My name is Cheryl Jackson, and I approve this message.
Thank you, Cheryl, for sharing with us the incredible work you and your team are doing at Minnie's Food Pantry. As volunteer chair of IICF Southeast Division, I'm asking everyone in insurance to step up and join this great effort to fight hunger. The need is even more urgent with recent winter storms. Take this Monday, for example. Minnie's already had 4,200 families lined up at 5 a.m. in the morning to receive food assistance. We're launching a campaign of 12 months of giving. It is called IICF Fill the Truck Competition. Throughout the year, we'll work with our colleagues in 12 select cities in the Southeast. Our goal is to fill the trucks with items most needed by local food banks. We sincerely hope each and every one of you will join us in this effort. You can help in several ways. First, you can donate the items on the most needed list. Secondly, you can be a champion to lead this effort in any of the 12 cities. Lastly and not least, please text to give using the link on the screen. Even $10 can provide 30 meals to families in need. In the past 12 months, IICF is proud to have already raised over $1.3 million and supplied 2.5 million meals. But we know together with your help, we can do a lot more. Please join us, fill up the truck, and lift up our neighbors in need. Thank you and enjoy the program.
Thank you for your inspiring messages, Cheryl and Enya. Now, in this spirit of giving, please join me in hearing directly from the dedicated nonprofit organizations you are supporting this evening and the impact IICF has made during this challenging year on behalf of the insurance industry.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Conway, and I'm the Executive Director of the IICF Southeast Division. We are so privileged to have you all join us tonight, and I'm excited to introduce several of our industry leaders, showcasing why they are proud to be a part of the insurance industry and why you should be too.
I'm incredibly proud that we help people in their time of need. 2020 was a year like no other. From dealing with the pandemic to an exceptionally large number of natural catastrophes, our industry and the IICF was here to help those that were impacted and recover quicker.
I'm very proud to work in this industry because we play an important part of the economy. We also, as an industry, continue to help others. IICF has been very helpful to so many local charities, and I'm proud to be a part of this industry and this organization.
I'm proud of our industry because we help people take risks and businesses make decisions by providing capital. I'm proud of our industry because we help make sure that employees return home safe at night. I'm proud of our industry because when disaster strikes, we're right there to help make communities whole again.
I'm really proud to be in the insurance industry. We're the glue that holds the global economy together. We secure investment, we enable health care, and we are not net takers. We give back to the communities in which we live in and reside.
Once while talking to a student about career goals, the student was unclear about what career or industry to pursue, but knew that they wanted to help people. Well, I was more than proud to tell them that in the insurance industry, that's all that we do. You see, we're really just a service-oriented industry that just happens to sell insurance. That's what makes me proud about the insurance industry.
Knowing firsthand the piece that comes with financial security in the event that something unexpected happens helps you take risks in business and push things forward, provide for your family and those you love. And now that I get to be on this side of the table helping deliver that service gives me a tremendous amount of joy.
We should all be proud to work in the insurance industry because its sole purpose, indeed its entire reason for being, is to help others get up when they've been knocked down by tragedies.
To me, the IICF is about bringing a really incredible industry together to give back to our community in a powerful way that we can't do individually.
To put things in perspective, during the pandemic, over 50 million people felt and experienced food insecurity of some nature. But thanks to your generosity, we were able, through the IICF, to distribute over 2.5 million meals to people in need. Makes me very proud to be a part of this group. Thank you.
The past year created so much unexpected and urgent need in our communities from the impact of COVID-19, and it was a really incredible experience to see how quickly and creatively IICF came up with the Step Up Challenge to engage virtually with carriers and agencies as far as the UK and raise an incredible amount of money that went directly into our communities so quickly and made an impact when they really needed it the most.
It's a way for us to be there in the moments that matter for our friends, our communities, our clients, our partners, people that we believe in, to help them rebuild or provide some safety net for all the risks that they're taking in their everyday lives.
The work that I do makes a difference in people's lives, and not everyone has the opportunity to say that as part of their careers. The work that I do as part of IICF allows me to do the same. It allows me the opportunity to work in our local communities to make them better, and also to bring along others in our industry to do the same, ultimately making the world a better place.
The IICF Southeast Division is proud to have contributed nearly $5 million in community grants to organizations championing children at risk, education, disaster relief, and veteran causes. Tonight we are honored to support 21 worthy organizations that will benefit from tonight's support. Aledo ISD Education Foundation, Catch Up and Read, Child Care Group, Cornerstone Achievement Center, Dallas Bethlehem Center, Joshua Chamberlain Society of Houston, Junior Achievement Dallas, Jonathan's Place, Main Gate Therapeutic Horsemanship, Mi Escalita Preschool, Minnie's Food Pantry, Momentous Institute, The Gatehouse, Read to Win, Ring of Hope, Ronald McDonald House of Dallas, SBP, Unbound Fort Worth, United to Learn, Vogel Alcove, Wesley Rankin Community Center.
The fact that the industry gives back and I'm able to participate in paying that kind of generosity forward is really important to me.
And it allows us to get so many of our employees involved in the charitable giving element. Not everybody can donate money, but everybody can donate their time. And I think the Week of Giving allows our employees to do that in a very, very meaningful way.
We are celebrating our 7th year at Cornerstone Achievement Center in serving special needs children ages 12 to 16. We focus on our academics, on our social skills, on developing a very well-rounded program for our children.
Thank you so much for the gift of your partnership and for the gift of seeing potential in our students.
We are a pre-K3 to 5th grade elementary school serving students in the Oak Cliff Bishop Arts area here in Dallas. We prioritize social, emotional health, and education and bring those two together to create children who are ready to take on all the challenges that they're going to face in the future. So that's what we do, and with y'all's help we've been able to provide a lot of resources and supplies for our students, and we really appreciate all of your support.
The Gatehouse is a 61-acre, privately funded, debt-free, and faith-based community.
We give a hand up to women and children overcoming crisis so they're empowered to become permanently self-sustainable. We offer legal aid, financial literacy training, life skills training, professional counseling, quality child care and early learning.
We've had to take our trucks and go mobile. We meet them where they are. The cars are lined up at the schools, and we're lined up there with them, with a smile on our face, a song in our hearts, and healthy meals that we put in their trunks.
Wesley Rankin has existed for 80 plus years on the same corner, and so we have served our neighbors. This is a very big walking community, lower income. These families don't always get the resources that they need that the rest of Dallas gets.
We hope you'll find a way to learn more about us or find ways to support them. And cheers, we hope to see everyone in person again next year.
What a motivating video highlighting the missions of the IICF nonprofit grant recipients and the impact IICF has made through a challenging year. I hope you feel proud of the great work you do each day. And in this spirit, I'll now turn it over to USAA as our presenting sponsor to help moderate an intimate discussion with former Marine Sergeant and Paralympic snowboarder Kirstie Ennis.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Randy Termeer, and I am the Auto Insurance General Manager at USAA and a member of the Board of Directors at IICF. And it's a privilege to be with you all this fine evening. And I am so excited to introduce our special guest tonight. I am honored to be joined by Kirstie Ennis, founder of the Kirstie Ennis Foundation, which is dedicated to providing educational opportunities and healing to underserved communities. Kirsty is going to be sharing more about her personal story. After losing her leg as a U.S. Marine Sergeant when her helicopter went down in Afghanistan, Kirsty is now conquering the 7 summits, was the recipient of the Pat Tillman Award for Service at the 2019 ESPYs, and was inducted into the 2020 International Sports Hall of Fame. Wow, Kirsty, it's wonderful to be spending time with you this evening.
Thank you. Well, thank you for that great introduction, Randy. And even more so, I'm looking forward to our conversation tonight and just being able to get to know you guys a little bit better, and then to be just involved with your event. I think what you guys all are doing is absolutely amazing. So it's truly an honor to be here. I think we can all agree, though, that we're happy to be turning the pages of 2020 and starting new in 2021. Like pretty much everybody on this call, 2020 threw me a dozen curveballs. It made so many changes in my life, everything from my work, my climbing, to the foundation itself. But much like my journey through recovery, loss, my military service, and more, one chapter doesn't determine how the story is going to end. I joined the Marine Corps at 17 years old and spent 6 years as a helicopter door gunner and airframes mechanic. Before I knew it, at 19 years old, I was off to Afghanistan for the first time. And don't get me wrong, through all of our conversation tonight, I truly loved what I did. I loved getting to serve people and being able to protect people that couldn't protect themselves. And throughout my military career, I would have 3 months in between deployments and I would go right back. That's how much I loved it. And at 22 years old, on my last deployment, my helicopter went down. And as a result of the crash, I sustained some pretty severe injuries, everything from traumatic brain injury, spinal cord damage to my arms, my ears, my eyes. And then the most obvious, I lost my left leg pretty high. I've gone through 45 different surgeries. I've spent 2 years in the hospital. So it's easy to say that, it's been quite the road. Initially, when I first got hurt, I was devastated. I fought for 2 years to stay in the Marine Corps and eventually was led to a medical retirement due to the injuries from my neck up. And I just felt robbed. I felt stripped of everything, my purpose, everything that I loved. And eventually, unfortunately, and it's hard for me to admit, but that led me to a suicide attempt. And that suicide attempt was really when my light bulb went off. That's when I made the decision to serve, our communities in different ways. Just again, to repurpose myself and live my life for other people. I could sit here in front of all of you this evening and be absolutely red with anger about everything that I lost. My memory, years of my life to the hospital and recovery. I lost my military career. Again, I lost my leg. But instead, I've just decided to choose on focusing on what I gained. And had all of these things not happened to me, I wouldn't be spending time with you guys tonight. In the end, the people that are surrounding me, the people that I now get to serve in a different way, and the people in front of me tonight were all worth it. You guys were worth it. I had just no idea that all of my suffering would eventually catapult me into the best moments of my life. I've been able to experience so much. I've embraced so many opportunities, and I've just met so many wonderful people. And had these things not happened to me, I wouldn't be where I am now. Being originally from Florida, for example, I knew nothing about the snow or mountains or any of that. And had I not gotten hurt, I wouldn't have been introduced to snowboarding. I wouldn't go on to compete with Team USA in border cross and bank slalom. Snowboarding eventually led me to climbing. And as you mentioned, the 7 summits. Had these things not happened, had I not lost my leg, I wouldn't be doing this. I'm doing more now on 1 leg than I ever even dreamed of doing on 2. So eventually, once I opened my eyes and my mind to the concept that we don't even know what we're capable of yet, individually or as a team, I was able to shift my perspective. Every single one of us has overcome so much as it is that I think we forget to remind ourselves of how far we've come and just how strong we are. So I hope from this intro, at least I hope all of you take the time to be patient with yourselves, applaud your small victories, lean into opportunities, and resist fearing failure. I mean, these are all things that I could talk about for days, but I would really love to hear some of your questions, Randy.
Well, Kirsty, thank you so much. And first, just on behalf of all of us, I want to thank you for your service to our country. It means so much to all of us. Thank you for your bravery and your courage. And maybe just to start, can you tell us a little bit more of how you came to serve in the military?
Yep. So a lot of people might think that I was cursed, but I really think that I was blessed. I was actually raised by two Marine parents, and it's one of my favorite stories. My mom and my dad, they got married at 18 years old. Yeah, my dad joined the Marine Corps right off the bat. And 9 years later, after I was already born, my mom was 27 years old, and she came home to the house that we were living on in 29 Palms in California. And she looked at my dad and said, these females are pretty, the female Marines are pretty badass. And my dad turned to my mom and said, I'll never be married to a female Marine. To which point my mom turned around, went out the door, went to the recruiter's office, got an age waiver, and joined the Marine Corps, leaving me at home with my dad while she went off to boot camp. And that's one of my earliest memories. It's one of the things that I am so grateful that I can actually still remember, is watching my mom walk across the parade deck. One of my great aunts, my great aunt Lydia, was actually one of the first female active duty Marines during World War II as well. So I just had this whole surrounding of people that just were so willing to get up every single day and do something for the greater good. And I just knew from an early age that was going to be me. I mean, for crying out loud, my Barbies wore dress blues and camis and all of that. And my favorite shirt was my mom's a U.S. Marine. And I knew early on that that's what I wanted to do. And I ended up finishing high school, or my curriculum anyways, by 15. And at 17 years old, I remember sitting in Pensacola Junior College, looking around the room and just thinking, this is my time. I'm not being challenged, mentally, emotionally, physically right now. And I left. I walked straight out of my chemistry lab, went into the recruiter's office and said, what do I have to do? And at first, I'm pretty sure I confused every recruiter in that office. I think I overwhelmed them just a little bit. But yeah, I took the papers home and I said, sign these, Mom. It's my time. And I'll be honest, I was kind of a pain in the butt. So she signed pretty much immediately. But I had to lie through my teeth to get my dad to sign. I actually told my dad, swore up and down that I was going to do a desk job like my mom. And lo and behold, he goes to drop me off at the recruiter's office before I go back to, or go to boot camp. And my recruiter looked at my dad and was like, this is amazing. I've never put a woman in for this kind of job. And I'll just never forget it. My dad was so mad at me. I don't think he wrote me a single letter through boot camp. But yeah, I mean, I was definitely just always inspired by other people who are willing to give up so much of their life and sacrifice so much for other people. So I don't even know if I had an option really either.
Well, I really appreciate how you've been so transparent about the accident, right? Can you tell us a little bit more about that road to recovery? What was that like?
Absolutely. Well, I was 6 weeks away from coming home, just to preface this a little bit. I'd been combat meritoriously promoted to sergeant. So when my helicopter went down, I really had no idea of the severity of my injuries. Like I knew my whole jaw was missing, my teeth were gone, and I could feel pain, but it was just more of this just confusion. And so eventually when 2nd Battalion, 5th Marines came out and provided security and helped us out with the medevac, my gunnery sergeant, who was my tail gunner at the time, he and I were both thrown into the back of another helicopter and we're kind of just laying there. They had called in as, the female gunner is dead on impact. So no one really had any idea what was going on. My tail gunner went out the back of the helicopter. So again, we had no idea what the extent of his injuries were either. And I just remember the door gunner from this new aircraft bending down next to me and saying, don't close your freaking eyes because you're not going to open them again. And then I just laid there for 30 minutes and stared at this blue cabin overhead light. And it was so strange because it never once occurred to me that I was going home. I had the whole time in my head that they were just going to sew me up and I was going to go right back to flying. Like it did not occur to me that my leg was going to be gone. I never cried. I screamed once, but it was more out of just shock. And when they wheeled me in finally to the makeshift hospital in Camp Bastion, and I saw my sergeant major, my gunnery sergeant standing there crying, I knew it was over for me. And so I eventually had this long journey back, to the States and eventually to San Diego, where I would do my recovery. But the strangest thing is, people look at me all too often and they just see me missing my leg, or even right now I'm sitting in my wheelchair. But they don't take a second to think about the invisible injuries and the toll that the physical side of things, but then also just the mental and emotional turmoil that people go through when they experience trauma and loss like this. So that road to recovery, I would be lying if I said that I was, over or if I was finished with it. My last surgery was just back in July. So it's ongoing and it's uphill the whole time, and it's absolutely brutal. But, I just, through recovery, I just reminded myself of my why and reminded myself that, I'm one of the lucky ones. I might be a little broken and banged up, but, I'm still here and I still have a lot of life left to live. So, the recovery, it's been rough, but at the end of the day, again, I remind myself to, pun intended, keep putting one foot in front of the other, just because there's people around me that need me, and there's, I still need everybody else around me as well. So.
And one foot in front of the other led to the 7 summits.
Yeah.
Wow. Tell us what that was like to pick the 7 summits and what that journey's been like to seek that out.
So to be honest, so from 2014 through 2016, I was competing again in snowboarding. I was in 2015, I was 5th in the world. In 2016, I was the USASA national champ. And I ended up having to have a surgery in November of 2016. And I just totally felt robbed of what was going to come next. I knew that this dream of mine of, representing USA by wearing this new uniform was taken away from me. I had no intention on climbing. I had no intention on mountaineering ever. But in this last ditch, effort to really keep my, spirits and my hope alive, I said, I'm going to climb Kilimanjaro, the highest point in Africa, 4 months later. So in March of 2017. And again, when I got down there, I picked one of the most ridiculous routes to do. I don't know why. I was up and down in 4.5 days, so over 19,000 feet. But I did it in association with being able to raise money. So we ended up raising $150,000 for clean water for the East Tanzanians. And I realized that I was either stubborn, strong, or maybe stupid enough to really be good at this whole endurance climbing thing. That after I got home, I said, you know what? Well, let's try another one of the mountains and see what we can do. And July of 2017, that's when I went down to Indonesia and climbed Karstens. And eventually, I couldn't stop. All of these climbs, I just want to remind everybody, sure, I'm proving something to myself, but it's also, again, this way for me to give back and pay it forward. So after I was able to successfully climb both of those 2 mountains, I was just ruthless. I just like I was doing my deployments. I had 3 months in between climbs, and every climb had a different mission or project tethered to it. There was always a different raising awareness or fundraising component to it. So again, it gave me this whole new confidence that I could go forth and I could do anything. I could overcome the brain injury. I could overcome the physical limitations that I was dealing with. But then I could also really be of service again to other people. And so here I am now. I am successfully 4 of the 7 completed. I am actually going back to Denali for my redemption round. I attempted it in 2018 and unfortunately had to turn around due to inclement weather and a climbing partner that didn't do too well in altitude. So I'm happy to continue on this journey. 2020 shook that up for me a little bit, canceled all my climbs, but it looks like we're back at it. So I'm excited.
So maybe a mountain that we all kind of think about when we think of the 7 summits would be Everest. How do you physically and emotionally prepare for Everest? Base camping, climbing that mountain.
Yeah, so I honestly, I climbed Everest in a totally untraditional way too. So let me just make sure everybody knows that as well. to prepare for it, again, it was just like I did the 7 summits. You just don't stop. You just keep going and going. You don't give yourself time to get out of mountain shape or the mountain mindset. But the reality of it is you climbing Everest or climbing some of these mountains, it's not about being strong or really even being in, the best shape. It's up here. So for me, like all of these climbs, it's really just been this whole display of keeping your head and your heart in the right place. I've always said one of my mantras through all of it is it's the 6 inches between your ears and what's behind your rib cage that dictate what we're capable of. So a mountain like Everest, I mean, really, that's just a matter of being gritty and being able to remind yourself of your why and the whole reason that you're doing it. Don't get me wrong, it is a terrible mountain to climb. It is unpredictable. There's so much going on. It's extremely commercialized and everything now. But it was one of the more rewarding climbs that I've ever done because I did it the way that I did it. For nearly 6 weeks, I didn't go below 20,000 feet. So I was sitting in a tent in the middle of the Khumbu, no one else around. My climbing team would go back down to base camp so that they could rest and heal and recover. And then I would just be sitting up there by myself. So for me, the hardest part of Everest wasn't necessarily the climb, because again, as long as you can convince yourself to keep moving, you're going to be fine. The hardest part was sitting alone in isolation in this tent by myself and then during just tent time. And then even beyond that, it's just, you spend 2 months on that mountain. I think people think that you go over there and you're there for 3 weeks and you're back home, like what I'm going to do on Denali, but it's not. It's this huge investment of your time, of your patience, of your energy, and just, being able to communicate with people. I will say for sure, that's another aspect of mountaineering, whether it's Everest or you're going to go do Kilimanjaro, just being able to communicate, be honest with yourself, be patient with yourself, and just communicating with your team. Because I would be lying if I said that I did it alone. Don't get me wrong. Like obviously it's my manpower to get up there, but you pull strength from the people around you. So it's this total collaboration of people coming together and really rallying support from each other.
Wow. So switching gears and getting a little bit closer to sea level, tell us a little bit about the Kirstie Ennis Foundation. How's that going, and how's that work going for you?
Again, I'm very transparent, and I wanted nothing to do with having my own nonprofit, nothing to do with it. So again, all of the climbs that I was doing, I was, for years, I was raising money behind these programs and projects that I believed in. But in 2018, after my Denali attempt, I started losing donations to programs, mainly because, people wanted my brand or my mission or, what I was doing behind it. And so I really was backed into a corner as far as like creating this 501c3, because I kid you not, it is not easy to do as 100% volunteer based. This is totally just a grassroots organization that comes together, no salaried staff, nothing like that, that really just want to be able to give the gift of the outdoors and help people heal through alternative means, not here's some medicine or go talk to somebody or, sit in a hospital around 4 walls. This is my chance to be able to give back in different ways. But I wanted nothing to do with it. And I worked my tail off for 6 months to actually make it make sense. And initially we were just, giving grants out. But then that's when I decided that I really wanted to start training individuals to go on their own expeditions. I wanted to start taking amputees in to be able to make them prosthetics so they could rock climb. Or again, all the snowboards behind me from my all-women veteran snowboarding clinic. Over the last 3 years, it's totally evolved into this amazing mission, still an incredibly challenging amount of work and a lot to handle with such a small team, but so worth it. When you give the gift of mobility, or you give somebody just empowering somebody to live the rest of their life, it makes it all worth it. So the lack of sleep, the bags under my eyes, all worth it.
Oh, that's wonderful. And just kind of thinking about all these stories that you're telling us are really about motivation and keeping that one foot in front of the other. If you think of professionals, parents, spouses, families out there today who are facing uncertainty challenges, like what would be your advice to them to how they can stay the course, how they can overcome their setbacks?
I'm going to stick to my guns on what I mentioned earlier. Just remembering your why. I think we all get frustrated with ourselves and things don't go according to plan, but let's face it, none of us are special. Life really, you can't predict what's going to happen, but some of the things that you can, stay the course on are having, a routine, being able to have open and honest conversations with yourself and the people around you, but then also realizing that at the end of the day, we're all in this together, especially when it's, related to kind of the circumstances that we're dealing with as a nation. We are truly all in this together. You're never alone in it. And so I personally wish more people would communicate and collaborate on what they're dealing with and share just their experiences. Because I feel like I could sit here with all of you tonight and be able to learn so much because we've all been through so many different things. So the more that we actually sit down and we kind of, this is ironic, so I apologize, remove the screens and actually talk to one another, I think we'll get through all of this so much more efficiently and so much more effectively. So that's my advice, and also just take the time, whether you're a parent or you're dealing with something with your spouse or coworkers, don't be afraid to turn off the phone and put it aside and just spend time. Because I think, again, all too often we're stressing ourselves out and we're worrying about what's to come that we ignore being present. And we will gain so much more by being in this and in front of each other.
So final question, Kirsty. After the 7 summits, what's next for you?
Oh gosh. Well, so hopefully I will be all finished with the 7 summits by 2022, probably 2023. I'm going to overwhelm you guys again, and you guys are going to start thinking that I'm a little crazy for not being able to sit still, but I would like to go back to the UK. So in 2015, I walked 1,000 across England's Scotland to honor 25 Marines who never made it home, or they took their own life after we made it home. And I would love to go back over there and raise money for some initiatives for Americans and the Brits to heal together. So I would love to go back and be the first woman above knee amputee to ever swim the English Channel. I also am really hoping that I'm able to knock it out by 2023, but I want to do what's called the Great Divide Ride. So it's a 2,600-mile transcontinental mountain bike ride. And the goal there is I would be able to have other amputees join me, along for certain stretches and be able to gift them, adaptive mountain bikes for them to continue riding after they ride with me. And finally, the one that's most talked about is the World Marathon Challenge. So 7 marathons, 7 continents, 7 days. So completely logistical nightmares. But again, it's something fun. It's something that I get to explore with a lot of other people. And I really don't mind doing things the hard way if it means that I'm getting to set somebody else up for success later on down the road. So, and I would like to finish my doctorate.
This time with you tonight, Kirsty, I have no doubt that you're going to accomplish those things. I can feel just by the stories you've shared with us, and sounds like you can when you set your mind to it and the why, you're going to get it done. And again, thank you for spending time with us. Again, thank you for your service to our country and defending our freedoms. And really, thank you for inspiring us tonight. I can't wait to share all this with our family back home. And for all those listening, it's just been a wonderful treat to spend time with you.
I appreciate that, Randy. Thank you. And it was an honor to serve. And even after everything that I shared with you guys, the highs and the lows, I would do it all over again. And I'm grateful for it.
Kirsty, we are so inspired by your resilience, your heart, and your strength. And on behalf of everyone watching, thank you for your service to our country. And now I'm joined by IICF Southeast Executive Director, Sarah Conway, to help me close out this evening.
Thank you so much, Kelly, and for being with us tonight. I know this year looks so different for all of us and everyone watching, and I hope you're staying healthy and positive. Year after year, through what is now a well-known tradition, our IICF Southeast Dinner highlights the giving spirit of the industry and the people that work within it. With your help, we continue to be able to make a positive impact in our community. It is such a true joy and privilege to work with each of the professionals. I'm able to do so every day. I look forward to seeing you all on the dance floor again next year and appreciate the generosity of our board, our sponsors, our incredible volunteers, and tonight's donors. So if you haven't made a donation yet, I really hope you'll consider doing so. Every $5, $10, $20, $1,000 adds up to make a really big difference for those who need our help. So don't forget to text 430-888-IICF, keyword IICF, and then the amount you'd like to donate. So thank you all. And thank you, Kelly.
Well, thank you, and thank you for having me, IICF, and thank you for all that you do. And now we'd like to ask everyone to join us for a virtual toast.
Cheers.
Cheers to you. And hopefully we'll be able to see you the same time next year in person. Cheers.